Late last year in 2023, a white paper was released by the World Economic Forum titled Jobs of Tomorrow, Large Language Models and Jobs. It's basically a report of just exactly how disruptive AI tech will be to existing jobs and job models. Now, as you can imagine, the report paints a picture of which industries and roles may be affected as advances in generative AI continue to evolve. While the paper offers a fairly optimistic view of a changing world, the context of the paper can't be ignored. It's pretty much change is coming, and you had better get your crap together. Humorist Mark Twain once pointed out that the only person who likes change is a wet baby. And yet, as anyone who has been alive during the last 20 years already knows, change is the one constant that we can rely on. Now, I'm old enough to remember the birth of personal computers, and the people who publicly, and sometimes a little too proudly, stated that there would be no reason why they would ever need to learn how to use a computer. Now, I saw the same thing happen a decade or so later when seemingly the exact same people claimed that not only was the internet a passing fad, but there would be no reason why they would ever need to be on the World Wide Web. And on through the disruptions of mobile tech and social media and Tamagotchis. Years ago, I recall seeing an old cartoon of two men standing in the doorway of their buggy whip factory. And as one of Ford's Model Ts drives by, one of them turns to the other and says, "It's only a fad." I've often wondered what becomes of the people who adamantly refuse to evolve with tech or cultural changes. Do they simply die out, or do they eventually get dragged kicking and screaming into the new world? Alvin Toffler, who wrote the 1970 best-selling book Future Shock, famously pointed out that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. He also points out that in order to survive future shock, individuals need to become more adaptable and capable than ever before. And that brings us to our current predicament. What changes can we expect from generative AI influence, and when? Well, you don't need to look very far to see the impact that AI is already having on employment rates in the United States. Cisco announced last month that they'll be laying off about 5% of their workforce, or 4,250 employees, due to advances in AI tech. Likewise, PayPal said in January 2024 that it would cut about 2,500 jobs for similar reasons. There are plenty of economists who have pointed out that AI might just be a convenient scapegoat to get rid of deadwood and inconvenient headcounts that may have come about when overhiring during the pandemic. Which brings us back to the World Economic Forum white paper. What kinds of changes can we expect going forward? Well, according to the white paper, 23% of all global jobs will be affected by AI tech, in particular, large language model-driven tech, in the next 5 years. Yeah, I'll give you a moment for that to sink in. Nearly 1/4 of all jobs globally will be affected by generative AI in some capacity in the next 5 years. So what does that look like? Well, the WEF white paper points out that LLMs can reformulate and provide detailed feedback on a provided set of text, including summarizing it, translating it to another language, proofreading it, discussing its style or tone of voice, and even rewriting it in a different style or tone of voice. LLMs can also generate new text and provide some degree of expertise on topics present in the LLM's training data, such as in the form of a literature review or completing a task typically done by a research assistant. Finally, the white paper points out that as programming languages are also text, LLMs can serve as programming assistants. Implementations like GitHub's Copilot have been shown to increase programmer productivity by 56%. In just these examples, we can easily start to see the areas of the economy that can be most affected by AI technology, that can do these jobs better and faster than people. Oh, and I shouldn't forget to mention cheaper, with less errors, and AIs never get sick or take vacations. This means that jobs that include performing administrative or clerical jobs, designing databases, documenting technical designs, procedures or activities, or people who obtain and collate information about goods and services are all potential targets for AI takeover. There are also a range of jobs and job types that are going to be made easier through the use of AI tools, including those that include evaluating personnel capabilities or performance, collecting data about consumer needs or opinions, evaluating patient or client condition or treatment options, and preparing information for instructional materials. As with any list of this type, there are also jobs that are going to remain largely untouched by AI for the foreseeable future, including roles that have been traditionally human-facing, such as clergy, guidance counselors and advisors, social workers, certain areas of direct healthcare, and tradespeople. Not surprisingly, athletes were gauged as being the least likely to need to worry about AI taking over their jobs. As we have seen with the rise of computers, the internet, social media, mobile tech, and now AI, economies have changed globally because of these massive disruptions. Heck, I decided to start my own TV show, which I can shoot entirely on my cell phone, about how to use AI tools to help you with your digital marketing. 25 years ago, everything in that statement would have been pure fantasy. The bottom line is that for every yin, there's a yang. As any successful entrepreneur can tell you, it's often during times of great change where fortunes are made because of the great opportunities that emerge. But even for people who have no desire to hang out their own shingle, the future of AI isn't all gloom and doom. The future is going to need people who understand how this technology works. It's going to need people who can use AI to come up with creative solutions. It's going to need people who understand user interface design and user experience design so that using these tools won't make you want to go running into the forest to live off the grid for the rest of your life. It's going to need people willing to step up to be the guardians of ethics and how we use these tools so that AI can be used for most beneficial reasons and not weaponized. It's going to need people who understand how all the pieces fit together. And that's why I started Gravity Clamp. I wanted to create a community where people just like you or me could learn how to use AI tools to do a better job communicating with others. And by the way, if you're just getting started, I invite you to check out our totally free course on AI marketing foundations. Simply visit us at gravityclamp.com and check on the free AI marketing course link at the top to get started. As for me, I need to get back to the process of inventing the future before the future reinvents me. Thanks for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk with you soon.